We're here with Mr. Henry Bryant. He was born and raised in Tyrrell County. He's a very interesting man. You can get started, Mr. Henry. When were you born, Mr. Henry?
1907.
1907.
Yeah.
And you are how old?
103.
Young. You're
Yeah.
103 young, right? Okay. Where in Tyrrell County were you born?
In the Bay Post Office section.
Took for my best friend.
Did you have brothers or sisters?
Oh yeah.
Did? How many did you have?
I had 4 brothers on daddy's side, half brothers. Half brothers on my daddy's side, and 4 brothers on my mother's side.
You had a bunch of brothers and
Yeah.
sisters.
What happened? My daddy had been married twice, and so did my mother. And they had children in the former marriage. And me and my sister Mahaley, who passed over there, get back. We were whole sisters and brothers.
Oh, I
We're the only two.
I see. And she lived to be?
She's 4 years behind me.
So she was 99. Very good. What was your favorite thing to do as a child?
Well,
Did you play hopscotch? Did you?
the biggest thing was running.
Running just as hard as you could.
Jumping, running. We had to put up a string so high and jump over it, and raise it a little high, jump over it.
Did you have marbles or?
I got to where I could jump over a string high as my head. Put up on even my head, I could jump over top of it.
Did you get to come to Columbia much?
Not very often, once in a while. Say, I don't know, maybe come to Columbia maybe twice, 3 times a year, something like that. So the only way we get you was walk.
I see.
Yeah, no other way to come.
I see.
Catch people that were coming to Columbia.
Were you able to attend school?
Yeah, I was able to attend school, but wouldn't find out what happened. When I got about 12, my daddy taken sick. And I couldn't go. I had to stay home and work.
I understand.
Couldn't go.
Yes, sir.
I got about halfway through the first reader.
Okay, but you still ended up being a smart dude.
And going to school, yeah, beginners, the kindergarten then was called primers. And Christ was in the primer class, and I was in there too. And I was great, big, tall, and everybody else down little.
What were the schools like? Were they one school?
One room school.
One room school.
Teacher, she taught from first grade up to the 7th. Oh, wait a minute, yeah, up to the 7th grade. That's she had different classes, but it's all in the same now.
Do you remember when Tyrrell Elementary and Columbia High Schools were both made?
Yeah, what happened, the white people that built a school there, the Travis, we called it the graded school. So they consolidated the white children in the school. And then later on, they built that school there where the Travis was black. They taught from up to the 7th grade down, but they had several rooms, the first grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade. They were separated. But to start off with, when I was going, only one room had attended all the grades.
And they had the homemade desks and stuff back then?
Yeah, and the students was up in the 4th and 5th grade, 6th. They would teach us, we smaller children, to help the teacher.
I see. I see.
They would teach us to help the teacher. Then she would teach the higher grade.
I see. When you were a teenager, did you court? Did you have a girlfriend?
Oh, yeah.
About what age were you?
Well, it's about 15.
About 15. So you were a normal teenager, huh?
Mm-hmm.
When did you get married your first time?
First time I got married in, I was 21 when I got married.
Mm-hmm. And you have how many children?
I had 5 children in
You
the
have-
first marriage.
You have 5 children in the first marriage. We were talking yesterday, and some of the fun things I heard you talk about was the first time you saw an automobile.
Yeah. But that was the first time I saw a car. I was about 6 or 7 years old, I reckon, about that time.
6 or 7 years old?
Yeah, I remember Model T.
Model T.
Yeah, and there was a man lived over at the Bay Post Office section, was Festus Ambrose. He was the first mechanic that I know that. And I don't really know who owned that Model T, but anyway, somebody had come up to around the Bay Post Office and had one.
And
I
they
saw it.
said you about ran over you, didn't he?
That's what I was afraid of him.
What was the first car you owned?
Now, first car I owned was
You told me it was $800. You remembered that part.
I said you could. I remember you could get a brand new one. for
Oh, I'm
$800.
sorry. You could get a brand
but
new
the
one.
one I had was just
A used
a
one.
old used car.
Yeah, but a brand new one, how about that? Was $800.
Mr. Selling Combs was the agent here. He selling Ford cars.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. Right there where Mike's what you call it?
Kitchen?
Mike's
Uh-huh.
kitchen in that building.
I see. What was your first job, if you can tell us that pretty quick? What was the first one that you remembered as a young boy?
Farming.
Farming. Right here in Tyrrell County, huh? Did you eventually go to war or go in the armed forces or anything? You didn't?
I was too young for
I understand.
World War I and too old for World War II.
I see. How about your brothers or sisters?
Yeah, I had 2 brothers went.
You had
Two half-brothers went.
2 half
One
brothers.
of the half-brothers on my mother's side and one of the half-brothers on my daddy's side. They both went to war.
I see. So your first job was farming. Now, yesterday you talked to me about logging. We'll go shortly into that about logging. I bet you saw some pretty strange sights logging.
Yeah. Back then, they didn't have chainsaws. They had good crosscut saws.
I see.
Yeah,
That was real hard labor, wasn't it? Did you have to use the river to float the logs down?
they floated the logs. They what we call rafter logs, and floated them. Yeah, from wherever they came to the creek and put them in the creek. Put what they call dogs in them, and the chain run through the dogs. Put several logs together.
Now,
Then they take a old gas boat, hook on it, and pull it to wherever the sawmill was.
Out of her nation, sir. You better come on.
so you were telling me too that the potatoes is about the #1 crop here.
Yeah,
Tell us how the potatoes, they took them to market.
I mean, they Tell kind of used to raise a lot of potatoes.
They used to put them in, didn't you say barrels?
In barrels.
Instead of bags.
Yeah, it started in barrels and then finally last they got on bags. Now they put them right loose in the truck.
Yeah. You were also telling me about the bridges. Tell me some interesting stuff. You told me that something about you helped build a bunch of bridges.
The first bridge, I remember coming across the river here, come across and joined to Bridge Street, come down Bridge Street. And it was built to the wooden frame. And it broke in. And old man Alvin Sawyer he was working for the oil company, Standard Oil Company. And he lost his horses in there.
So his horses drowned,
Yeah, his horses drowned.
and this was a wooden bridge.
Yeah. Then they used a ferry to go across. Oh man, Bob Knight, that ferry to go across.
Oh, Mr. Knight. How about that? I've heard a lot about him.
Go across, and they built a bridge. They built a bridge to come across Main Street.
And that was the drawbridge, right?
Yeah.
And what year was that? Do you kind of remember that?
That was, let me see if I can get that right there. Sometime in the late 20s or early 30s. And then that one lasted a while. Then Fred Flitz built the next bridge across.
Yeah.
And that's so then later, sometime later on, a contractor come in here and put a bridge across.
Yeah. Well, they're
And then when I was working then with the construction company. Bowers Construction come out of Raleigh, come in and extended that bridge on out down across the marsh. Extended it, didn't, and it stayed there until McGill from South Carolina come in. He built a bridge across there.
How about the train? Was that a separate type bridge?
Yeah, train.
And you told me a story about the train eventually fell in.
Yeah, that was in England where the train fell in.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
that
you meant
bridge.
here.
And McGill built that bridge. And then shoot. I know what I'm talking about. I know the name of the place. Tidewater built the last one.
How about that? You got a sharp memory, Mr. Henry.
Tidewater built the last one across the 4-lane drive.
Yeah. How far west have you ever gone?
West? Livonia, Georgia.
Georgia. Okay. That's south. Have you ever been out towards the west part, across the United States any?
No, well, I've been to Dayton, Ohio.
Okay. All right. Good. How did you go? Did you go by car?
No.
Been by train?
My granddaughter attended this college. She went there. She was graduating from school, law school. In Dayton, Ohio.
I see. Tell me a little bit about Piney Morris. You said